Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I will be doing a fun video. It is the what are your assumptions of me tag, I believe that's what it's called. So I saw a few people do it, Mimi and Alex and a few other people that did these videos, and I thought it'd be interesting to see what your assumptions are of me and then do my reactions to that on the channel. I thought I was going to do it on Instagram, but I think it will be more fun here because we can leave it here and then, you know, I can look back on it, you guys can refer back to it. So anyways, I selected a lot of questions. I'm not sure how many of them I'll be able to actually get through, but I'm gonna challenge myself and do this in a more of like a rapid fire style so I can get through as many of the questions as I can. Now, I'm gonna do them in no particular order except for the top few questions because they were the ones that came up a lot in different variations. So I'm gonna get started, and the first one is you and Mimi, and for those of you, most of you probably will know, but Mimi is my sister. We started a channel many years ago in 2010 called Luxy Hair, a channel all about styling your hair, and we had a business with Luxy Hair. So that's the backstory, but I'm sure all of you, most of you, if not all of you, already know that. So Mimi is my sister, and a lot of you guys assume that Mimi and I get into nasty fights, or that we're in a fight, or that we had a falling out, or that we don't get along, something along those lines. So that's the one I'm gonna start with because I think a lot of you guys really want to know about this. So here's the truth. Mimi and I are definitely not in a fight. We love each other. We miss each other. There's another one that is kind of like the same, that you and Mimi still speak almost every day and that you guys miss staying nearby. So I thought I will kind of cover these two questions together because they are related. So Mimi lives in London, as you guys know, and I live in Toronto at the moment. So we don't live in the same city, and we have a long distance relationship, and long distance relationships are not easy because everyone's lives are busy. Everyone, especially when you're a parent and you're a mother and you're like hands-on parent, your days are pretty much revolve around your children. So we're both busy, but we do try as much as we can to stay in touch. We love each other deeply. We're there for each other. We support each other in anything that we can, in every way that we can. And we most definitely have not had a fight. And I would say actually our relationship is better now than it used to be because we are both, you know, growing and evolving. We both accept and love each other exactly as we are. So that one is definitely not true. And another question that was asked quite a lot, a variation of, is, as some of you might know the story about Luxy Hair, is that I decided to leave the business in 2012 or 13, I can't remember now exactly, but I decided to leave the business and just follow my heart in a different direction. And a lot of you guys had a variation of assuming that I regret it or that I made a mistake or anything like that. So I just wanted to set the record straight once and for all. It was my decision, and one that I absolutely, without a doubt, do not regret. If I went back and I had to go through it again, I would do that exactly the same way. I would not change one thing, because I truly believe that in life you have to follow your heart. You have to do things that feel in alignment with your soul. And when I made that decision, I was following my heart. I would do it all over again. I'm not the type of person that will follow money, so to speak, or success on the outside. I will always choose freedom and peace of my heart and my mind over anything external. So for me, that was way more important. I knew that my soul had a calling and I had to pursue that path. I am so grateful to Luxy Hair. Luxy Hair was the biggest blessing that happened to all of us, my entire family, to this day, and I will forever be grateful to Mimi and Alex, for Alex to having had the idea to come up with the business, inviting me into it, for all of us to create this wonderful, beautiful business. It is the reason why I'm here right now and I have the channel, because you guys, most of you came from Luxy Hair days, which I'm so grateful for, and I love each and every one of you guys so much, and I truly am so grateful because it allows for me to have this platform and to have a voice and to be able to use this space to share my heart, share what I'm about, and share my message, which I will be doing more and more as I find more of who I am and why I'm here and all that, but today we're not talking about that. So yes, I absolutely do not regret leaving Lexi here. It was the biggest blessing that continues to give to this day, and I'm so grateful, but I would absolutely not go back and do it because, again, in a nutshell, because my heart was just not in it anymore, and I don't believe in doing anything in life that is not aligned with your heart and your soul. So that's that. Let's move on to the next questions. So I'll scroll back up and we'll start in no particular order. These ones I'm really going to try and do rapid fire because those two those few questions I wanted to cover in more depth. Next question, you don't go out much. And yes, this question is absolutely true. I don't go out much. I prefer always to be in a space of peace and serenity. And there will be another question, maybe I will just like put these two together later, of something along the lines of like, I'm a homebody and I like to stay home. And that's absolutely true, because I think it was in the next question, it said like your home is your sanctuary, and it absolutely is true. I create kind of like sacred space around me, and I enjoy doing things that are more solitary and they're more creative, or that have to do with like, you know, meditation or creation, or you know, being around my children or my animals or nature when it is nice. Right now it's cold, so I'm blabbing on. But yes, I don't go out much. This one is true. Next question. I'm gonna really try to cut myself off and just stick to the point. You spend a lot of money on beauty products, and this one is absolutely not true. I actually have I have certain products that I use that I kind of like discovered years ago, and I just don't really put so much value on that part of my life. So I have things that work and that I use, and they last me a long time, and I absolutely do not spend a lot of money on beauty products. Is that what it is? Yeah, beauty products, that's it. Next one, you are a very spiritual person, and this one is indeed truth. Life makes sense to me through spirituality. If I look at it as just this body, this human being, it just makes no sense. But when I go deep and I educate myself on the truth and the spiritual path and all that comes with that, and the path of awakening and all that, we're not getting into all of that today, but yes, definitely spiritual person. You're very organized and you care about people a lot. This one is true and true. I'm not super organized, but I try to be organized, because when I'm not, it just gives me anxiety. Like when things are messy, I cannot function. And yes, I indeed care about people, and not just people, but everything that is alive, whether it's nature or animals or people or anything like that. I care deeply about all live beings. Next assumption, you put yourself after others. And that one was true up until recently, and I had to learn the hard way that way just does not work. What that leads to is essentially burnout, and that's where I was. So I was like that, but now life has taught me that if I don't put myself first, I just cannot give, because there's absolutely nothing left. You burn out and you have nothing to give, and it's not a good place to be. So I'm in the process now of balancing that, but definitely giving to myself first, so I have something to give from an overflow. So that's that. Next assumption, Mashki's here. You are always perfect hair, perfect nails, perfect clothes every day. This one is so not true. For most of the time, any of those things are definitely not perfect, and not only like looking put together, I guess. It's only when I really have to, especially recently, like my priorities and my values have really shifted and changed, and I really don't put value on that at all, or not at all as much. I still prefer to look put together and prefer to have makeup on and my hair done and you know, dressed comfortably in a way that makes me feel comfortable, but absolutely not. That one is not true. I go out with messy hair, dirty hair, no makeup all the time, and I'm perfectly fine with it, because like I said, priorities have shifted and I now value just my heart and who I am a lot more than what I look like. And I think people see that as well and respond to that. So next assumption, you are a perfectionist. This one used to be true, but again, this one I'm happy to say that I have overcome. I'm definitely not a perfectionist anymore. I still like to give my all, and I still like to create or to be or to give my best, but if things are not quote unquote perfect, I'm perfectly okay with that. Next assumption, you are more of an introvert than an extrovert, and this one is absolutely correct. I am the definition of an introvert. For me, if I am around other beings, people, not animals, people specifically, even if it's my family, even if it's people that I love dearly, that are my whole heart, like my family, my kids, my husband, my parents, whatever, even with those people, when I'm around other people, energy is sucked out of me. Like it takes away from me. For me to feel like full, charged, I have to be alone. That's when I do the things that kind of fill me up, and then I'm able to be around others. So balance is very, very important for me. So next assumption is you don't have many friends. This one is absolutely true, and something I would not change, because I value quality over quantity. So I have a few close friends that are like soul sisters, and even if we don't talk or spend too much time together, that depth and connection and that soul connection is always there, and I cherish and value that so much. So I don't have many friends, but I have a few quality friends that I love dearly, that are like family to me. So next assumption, you're a sensitive person with a tender heart, and this one is true and true. I am hypersensitive, and I do believe that I have a very tender heart, in the sense that like I'm also an empath, and that empath basically means that you're highly sensitive and you feel things deeply. Like when others feel, you feel exactly what they feel. And for the longest time I thought that that was kind of like a curse in a way, not a curse, but it was just like a challenge. But now I'm understanding the gift of what that means and how I can serve from that place. So yes, definitely hypersensitive, and definitely a tender heart that feels everything to the 9th degree. So next assumption, you're down to earth, and this one I believe is true. If you meet me in real life, I'm exactly as I am. I am very real. There's nothing to hide. I'm an open book. Yeah, definitely that one is true. Next assumption, you need more free time for yourself. Yes, yes, and yes, and yes, and yes. This one is so true. I love being by myself. When I'm by myself is when I feel deeply connected to my soul, my higher self, spirit in general, is when I feel, when I get ideas, when I get inspired. If I'm around people, it acts more like a distraction and an energetic sort of like sucking out. I don't know if that's making sense. But yes, definitely need a lot of time for myself or by myself. And this one is kind of tied in. You like to stay home, and there was another question like that, or assumption. Yes, definitely. Again, it's all kind of tied in together. When you're in your own sacred space and you're by yourself and there's no distractions, is when you can really go deep inside and you can connect to your truth of who you are and sort of create your life from that space and place. Next assumption, you don't care about money. So this one, I would say I don't care about money, but I care about having financial freedom, so I don't have the worries, and I can truly be free to be me, to create what I'm here to create. So financial freedom is important, but money in a sense of like just having money to get things, absolutely not important. I don't care about things. I care more about what the freedom that money can bring, the experiences that you can have, the freedom to kind of like create and design and build your life in exactly the way that your soul wants. So it's kind of like in that way. I hope it makes sense. Next assumption, you regret having got breast implants. And I don't know where the other question is about and the other surgery, but I will group these together. So I regret having breast implants, and another one was I regret having my nose fixed. So I will just answer them together because it's all the same, like in terms of plastic surgery. So on both accounts, absolutely zero regrets. I'm so happy I listened to my heart and I didn't listen to anyone outside of me, and I did exactly what I knew I needed to do to just, again, remove that worry out of my life so I can be free to be me. With my nose was broken and crooked and it had a bump. So I had that fixed, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. I'm so happy I don't ever think about it anymore. It's just like, it's just that worry is out of my, you know, awareness. And with my breasts, again, I'm very curvy. I come from the Middle East, kind of like the Azerbaijan, and I'm very curvy and bottom heavy, and my top part was always super flat, and it felt very imbalanced, and it made me feel like I wasn't on the inside. I felt like a very feminine, curvy, like feminine energy goddess, and on the outside I felt like I looked like a boyish kind of body on the upper body. So absolutely zero regrets. I would do it all over again. I'm so happy with both decisions, and I would do it all over again. So next assumption, you cry a lot. This one is not true. I am very sensitive, but not a lot of things make me cry. I don't know, I don't cry a lot. No, this one's not true. Okay, next assumption, you like to have a really, really tidy house. This one is absolutely correct. I don't clean a lot, but I tidy a lot. Like everything is always in its place, but I don't like, you know, clean the windows or clean or dust and like mop the floors every day, stuff like that. Everything always has to be in its place, but it's not always like super, super clean. So next assumption, your husband doesn't help you around the house and with the kids or something like that. This one is absolutely not true. Dimitri is absolutely amazing at being hands-on. He helps with kids whenever he's home. He works full-time, so when he is home, we're both full-time, hands-on. Everything that's involved in parenthood, we're both involved. So this one is not true, and I'm so grateful that he is like that, because I just couldn't be with someone who wasn't, because, you know, I just believe in equality. So yes, that's that. Next assumption, having kids was more challenging than you imagined, maybe. And yes, absolutely. I mean, when you're not a parent, you don't really know, like you have an idea of what it's like to be a parent, but then the reality of it is, at least in my case, was very different. It took a lot more of me, it is taking a lot more of me now that I have more balance when the kids are in full-time care. It's much, much better. But yeah, the first years have been very challenging. So yes, definitely more challenging than I had imagined. But I would not change it for anything. They are absolute blessings, greatest teachers. Obviously, I love them more than anything, and wouldn't change it for the world, but was definitely more challenging than I thought it would be. So next assumption, you are very good at observing yourself and put a lot of thought and effort in all that you do. This one is absolutely correct. I am, along with being hypersensitive, I'm hyper aware of myself and of others. And I think this is another one of my gifts that I'm learning how I can utilize and serve from. So yes, definitely very, very self-aware, observe everything. And I do put a lot of thought and effort in all that I do, because again, for me, it has to be in accordance and in alignment, in full alignment with like who I am, who I truly am, why I'm here. Everything has to be sort of aligned and come from that place. Okay, next assumption, you never get mad or frustrated at your kids. And there was a lot of these variations of this assumption, and these are absolutely not true. Guys, I am still a human being. I'm not a saint, I'm not an angel. Children challenge you a lot, especially if you're tired and hungry, or if you're in a rush, or if there's just like real life happening. Of course I get frustrated, of course I raise my voice, or of course not, of course I do raise my voice, and then when I do, I try to calm down as soon as I can, and then I always talk to them about it, what happened, why I got upset, you know, and I try to explain everything, and of course always apologize, because ultimately raising your voice is not the best way to deal with things, but sometimes, you know, you're still a human being, and I think to teach them that it is okay, express yourself exactly the way you need to express yourself, but then afterwards, if apologies need to be made, then you have to do that, and you have to be okay with, you know, allowing yourself to feel and express yourself just as you are. So I think it's a good teaching moment, but I am definitely working on myself to be a lot less reactive. I am much, much better than I was, but I still have ways to go to be completely equanimous. So there's always room for growth. Next assumption, you were experiencing postpartum anxiety and depression after your son. And this one, I definitely didn't have anxiety, but I experienced a very challenging time after his birth. because I don't believe it was depression connected to him. Maybe it was, I'm actually not sure on this one. I think it was connected, not I think, I know it was connected to the fact that I was just not sleeping, and sleep is so important to our well-being. So because I wasn't sleeping, I think it caused a lot of disbalance in my body and just like affected my mental health and my mental well-being. So as soon as he started sleeping better and I started feeling better, I feel more like myself and normal. So it was just more connected to sleep deprivation than anything else. So that's that. Next assumption, you and Dimitri don't really have time for yourselves. This one is absolutely true. We have been really bad at prioritizing us, like the relationship, just was with everything going on. But I think for this year we have sort of recommitted to our relationship. We still haven't implemented it, but at least we started with the recommitment. So we have yet to make us a priority and make it like, you know, set the date and like actually do it, you know, make the time to go out. And I think it's important to actually get out of the house. But yeah, I'm not gonna get into too much depth, but yes, that one is true. Next assumption, you are reactive. Yes, this one is true, but I'm gonna say that like I was reactive. In the past year especially, I have gone through a huge transformation of just being a lot more equanimous and peaceful. But growing up, I grew up in a very reactive and explosive environment where everyone was very emotional and just like a lot of emotions. So that's what I sort of like picked up, but I have been consciously working on that and I am much better than I was. Next assumption, you cook daily for your family. And this one is true, not daily as in like every single day. I cook probably 5 times a week. I try to kind of give myself a break on the weekends or maybe like Friday, Saturday night and stuff like that. So yes, I cook almost every day. Next one, you seem like you love all people for real. Absolutely. I love, like I said, I covered that before. I love all people, all beings. I love everything because ultimately everything is an aspect of the divine. So we all come from the same source and we all are an aspect of that source and divine. So of course, how can you not love it? Next assumption, you are Pisces. That is not correct. I am a Gemini. Next assumption, transitioning to 2 kids was way harder than you thought it would be. Yes, absolutely. Again, I didn't know what I thought it would be to have 2 kids, but it has been very challenging because I'm better when I'm one-on-one with someone. And especially because Andreas and Adriana are so different and they have such different energies and just personalities and ways of being that it was very hard at the beginning. Now it's much better because Andreas is older, he understands, he talks. So it is much better to like balance it all, but at the beginning was way harder for sure. Next assumption, you don't have to work hard to maintain your nice body and shape. This one is true. I think a lot of it has to do with genetics, so thank you to my genes and my ancestors. But I also will say that I don't believe that it's all because of that. I think it influences the shape or the shape of my body. But if I were to eat, you know, junk, I think that it would reflect in how my body looked. So I eat consciously healthy. That in conjunction with genetics, I think, is the result of what my body looks like. Next assumption, you are really kind, emotional, and vulnerable. And this one is yes, and yes. Kindness is why we're here in terms of like really embodying kindness towards all creation and I truly believe and live by that saying that, you know, treat others the way you want to be treated and don't do unto others what you wouldn't have done on yourself. I am very emotional in a sense that like that back to that empathetic part that I just feel emotions deeply, and I am very vulnerable. What does that mean? In what sense? Like I'm vulnerable meaning I'm okay with my vulnerability and my humanness. So next assumption, you get easily overwhelmed and don't like asking for help. This one is true. I do get easily overwhelmed and I'm working on that of just again being present in the moment. A lot of it has to do with the fact that like you just get frazzled because you're in the future or you're thinking about the past or whatever, mostly about the future. The overwhelm because, oh, how am I gonna do this or how am I gonna do that? So bringing it back to the present, bringing it back to this moment, just focusing on the task at hand. I have gotten much better at that and have really transformed myself in that regard. And much better at asking for help as well. I was really, really bad at that, but now I am happy to say that I have become much better. Next assumption, you are jealous of your sister, and this one is so not true, and there was a lot of assumptions actually around this one. This is so not true. I have zero jealousy for Mimi's life, and I can see why people would assume that, but the thing that we have to remember that each one of us has their own path, have our own values, have our own desires. What the life that Mimi's living is the life that she dreamt of, and I could not be more happy for her. I could not be more proud of her. I could not be more excited for her to see how else she grows, what else she creates, and just does in her life. So there's no jealousy, because I know that every path is perfect just the way it is, and I would not want to live the life that she's living. Her life is perfect for her, and my life is perfect for me. So that one is not true. So next assumption, you're a spiritual seeker and you follow your heart. Absolutely, this one is bang on. That's exactly what I am. I am here to self-actualize my soul and follow my heart, because the heart kind of like is your connection to your higher self and your soul. But yeah, so that one is true. Next assumption, you don't indulge in sugary treats. I don't care for sugary treats, generally speaking, but if I ever do want something sweet, I will allow myself to have it. I just don't believe in deprivation ever. I kind of just always allow myself to enjoy whatever it is that my body wants at that time. So I guess I'm just blessed that I don't crave sweets. If I craved sweets, I would definitely be disciplined and just like balance it. But yeah, I don't happen to crave sweets. And the last assumption, I'm so happy I went through these. I don't know how long the video is. I'm sure it's at least half an hour, but I think I did pretty good. I think I had around 40 assumptions. So last assumption is you never swear, and this one is not true. I actually really enjoy swearing, because I'm a very expressive person, and I think swearing is just feels good in the moment. But I have sort of made conscious choice and decision, and I have an intention of not swearing, because words are very powerful and the way we express ourselves is very powerful. So I consciously work on that, but I still really enjoy expressing myself with some swear words sometimes. I am only human. So that was all the assumptions. This was wonderful. It was a lot of fun for me. I hope that you guys had fun watching and getting to know me a bit better. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking around. I know that I don't post videos consistently, and I appreciate you guys for sticking around. Just know that I'm in a place where I am creating the next phase of my life, and I just want everything to be in congruence and in alignment. And if I can't just sit down and make videos if it's not like fully in alignment with what I'm doing and with where I'm going. So just know that I'm doing a lot of work, and there's a lot of seeds that have been planted and that are going to be growing, and that I am here, and I'm a lot more present on Instagram. So if you want to stay connected, Instagram is where I post more, because it's just easier. But just know that I love you and I appreciate you so much, and that I will share more of me and share more of my message soon, as the ideas and the inspiration takes physical form. So just know that I'm here, and I love you and I appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. And again, if you want to stay connected, check me out on Instagram. That's where we can connect easier. So thank you, and I will see you in the next video. Mwah! Bye!